welcome to Monday Night Live. Tonight, it is the last Monday Night Live of the year, 2025, and we're going to walk through VitaFlex, what it is, what are some the basic movements of it, and I'm going to show you the VitaFlex points on the feet specifically, and just show you some ways that you can help apply your essential oils on a more regular basis. So I have been using Young Living essential oils. I'm going into, in September of 2026 will be 20 years. It's hard to believe it's been that long, but it's been a fantastic learning adventure and journey. And one of the first things that I learned, I think I was about 2 years in, was through the training of Dr. David Stewart and his wife Lee. I went to CARE, which is the Center for Aromatherapy Research and Education. And I went to learn raindrop technique and learn how to do that, which is another fantastic class that we'll have. I'll tag that video in the comments. But the VitaFlex technique is also something that we learned during that time, and it is really effective if maybe you want to pinpoint a specific area and if you want to get the oils directed into a system of the body. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it tonight and how you can do it and how you can teach others. It's really a very simple process. And first, I want to tell you the term VitaFlex. Some people have heard of reflexology, and they're similar in ways, but VitaFlex is known. It was coined, the term VitaFlex was coined by a man named Stanley Burroughs in the 1960s, but it's believed that it was actually originated in Tibet thousands of years ago and has been practiced ever since then. Stanley Burroughs is the one who just happened to coin the phrase VitaFlex. And basically it refers to a specialized form of stimulation using the pads and the nails of the fingers in a rotating motion, and is to specific points or reflex points in the body. So I'm going to read directly out of one of my desk references to kind of give you more detail. It's based on a complex network of reflex points that stimulate all internal body systems. So if you think of a network, for example, your nervous system is a network. Your blood vessels are a network. Your reflex system is a network as well. And essential oils work. We know they work really well when they're applied to us topically. They coexist, in nature with us in plants, but they were designed for our healing. We know it says that in the Bible. They were designed for us. And so whenever we apply them specifically with intention on certain points of our body, that's VitaFlex. So it's we know what anointing is, putting oil on and praying and speaking truth of God's word over ourselves. VitaFlex, you can speak the truth of God's word over yourself with that as well. But what you're specifically doing is targeting a body system. So if you were to say maybe you have a headache or maybe you have a digestive issue, then you can target those specific areas. So essential oils are applied on these contact points, and the energy through the oils, and then the energy that is actually, there's an electrical stimulation that happens whenever we move our hands in a certain pattern, and that electric impulse is created by contact between the fingertips and the reflex point, and that charge allows the nerve pathways to move through and either unclog or repair any breaks that might be. So think about it like a circuit, if you will, like an electrical circuit in your home. You have behind the walls, you have electrical wires and wiring. And so if there's any break in that circuit, you can flip on the light, but it's not going to come to produce light for you until that circuit is repaired. And so this is the same concept with touching those certain points in our body, and those reflex points, and that's going to create the repair, or it's going to actually unclog, if you will, if there's some kind of obstacle in the way. So for a lot of people, this seems it's not a foreign concept. Understanding electrical circuitry in your body, understanding energy. If you're not familiar with the fact that the human body is an energetic form that we were created by an energetic source, the source. But it is something that's been well known for thousands of years, and we know that there were even VitaFlex was practiced in the Bible, reflexology. If you look at Leviticus 14, and the priests were told how to show someone clean after leprosy, and they would anoint their right thumb, their right ear, and their right big toe. And we know that those points in when it comes to reflexology, the right thumb is a center for decision making. The right ear is going to be with a lot of generational issues, generational sins, generational things that you need to break, generational curses. And then your right big toe is going to be addiction. So they would anoint all of those 3 weeks. If you remember in when Jesus healed the lepers, there were the 10 lepers that he healed, and 9 of them ran off and 1 came back and said, thank you. That was because that one person, they were all going off to show themselves healed by the priest. They were going to go get that, be anointed. And that one came back to say thank you. So again, it's in the Bible. It's been around a long time. Of course, the Bible's not a text about reflexology or natural health and wellness, but what it is it shows us a picture of what the ancient world was like. And there were very much these types of practices and essential oils at that time. So if you understand a little bit of the background and the purpose of it, the idea is to jumpstart the electrical circuitry, helping to those different body systems to have proper function. And of course, it works best with oils. VitaFlex can be done, moving around without the finger. As you're practicing it, you can just use your fingertips without oils. But it is important to really get the best results is to use your Young Living essential oils. It's the only oils I've been using for the last 20 years, been to their farms around the world, and know that they are the best. And so there are more than 1,400 VitaFlex points on the body. We are not going to cover all of them. I really want to focus on the areas that you could do yourself. So I'm going to focus on points on the face as well as points on your feet. And that's just a really important thing for you, because if you are by yourself, it's easiest to be able to do these on yourself. I do them to myself all the time. Now, one other thing, making sure you're well hydrated before applying a lot of essential oils is always good. And then making sure you've removed all your metal. So I don't have any earrings or rings on or anything, no watches. We know that even just having phones and I know if you're watching this video, you have a phone, or you're on the call, you have a phone probably, or computer. I do too, but minimizing that, the availability of electronic devices when you're trying to do VitaFlex is the very best. We only, again, use Young Living essential oils. And I've always heard it said, Dr. David Stewart says, you can select an oil for what you want it to do. And Gary Young, who founded Young Living, he had specific blends of oils that he made for different, the name of the oil will tell you what it does. But Dr. David Stewart also said, use what you have and apply your faith to it. So you might be in a situation where you have 1 or 2 oils and it may not be what you need or the best oil for that situation, but use what you have, apply your faith, speak the word, and then do your VitaFlex. Apply the oils to the VitaFlex, and you, I believe, will see results. I am going to mention specific oils for the different body systems, just because when I teach this class, I want to give people a framework for that. But if you have your basic starter kits, your Young Living starter kits, any of the basic oils that are there, peppermint, lavender, frankincense, valor, stress away thieves, pretty much any of those are going to cover all of the different, can help in any way. So I will tell you, if you're putting oils along in the face, around the face, you want to be careful. A lot of times what I'll do is I will put olive oil around my mucous membrane, so around my eye, my nose, or my mouth, just because that skin can be a lot more sensitive, and it can, definitely burn when you get oils in your eye. You don't want to create that problem. Done it many times. My eyes are okay, but I don't want to try to encourage that if I can. And then you can apply the oils, and sometimes they feel warm, it feels hot. And what can you do? You can just apply a carrier oil on top, and that carrier oil will just slow down the rate of descent with the oils in your body. So it's not changing it chemically, but basically the oils move very quickly down through the layers of your skin. They're very small molecules. And the fatty oil, the carrier oil, the avocado or the coconut oil, or whatever you happen to have on hand, olive oil. We have a blend called V6 that Young Living has that has 6 different vegetable oils in it. And basically, it's just going to slow down the rate of descent. So it goes from going fast and creating friction on your skin to being slower. And so that's all it's doing. It's not changing it chemically. And the fatty oils can't go down, as they can't penetrate by themselves into the skin. They usually just sit on top unless they have the oils with them. So it actually helps you. It helps the heat to go down considerably right away. So how do you do this VitaFlex? So traditionally, what we're going to do, I'm just going to show you on my hand here, is that you're going to lay the pads of your fingers flat on the body surface that you want to apply VitaFlex to. So I'm just showing you this for, I'm not showing you any specific body system right now. I'm just showing you the technique. So you're going to slowly you're going to have your fingertips here. Now, if you can put all of your fingertips down together, see how my fingernails are all together there. Then you're going to roll up to 90 degrees to where the tips of your fingers are vertical, and then flip over another 90 degrees where the nails are flat against the surface of the skin. When mastered, this can be done fairly quickly. So I can show you whenever I do it like this. You're going to just go pad, tip, nail, pad, tip, nail, pad, tip, nail, pad, tip, nail. And then you can actually get pretty close, and it starts to be more of a rolling motion, just making sure that you keep your fingers together and that you're rolling. It's a quick snap onto the nails, but the technique can also be done with 1 or 2 fingers in certain areas, like on your face. That's going to be what you might need, or on the feet and small, especially in children, that's going to be important. Or you can also do it with your thumb. There's some techniques that you do with your thumb. For example, one of the head techniques that I use for digestion, and that's the same thing. And so it's hard to show, like this pad, tip, nail, pad, tip, nail. So there you go, pad, tip, nail. Okay, so now that we've kind of got that out of the way, I want to talk about the different body systems. First of all, digestive. And some of you on the call, what are your favorite oils for the digestive system? Do you have a preference? Because you can put those in the chat right now, and I will read them here in a second as we get through. Let's see, digestion. Yeah, let me go back to my notes there. Okay. I opened it up so you guys can digest. Yep, Shelly's got that one. Digest 100% peppermint. I mentioned peppermint earlier in the starter kit. That's one most people have on hand. If you don't have a bottle of peppermint, it's fantastic. And it was one of my first experiences with an essential oil. And so I remember using it. If I don't always know what to do, I go to peppermint. And spearmint's another good one for the digestive system. Or you could also use raindrop oils. Tarragon is another good single oil. Maybe not one that as many people have on hand, but if you look at the oils in Digest, tarragon is one of the oils in there as well. Yep. So Digest, Aroma Ease. Yep, that's another good one. I actually had a Aroma Ease aroma ring in today. And so I was getting my additional wellness through the Aroma Ease, and thought that was really good. And that's going to help with nausea or digestion. So let's talk about doing it on the digestive system. So here's my feet. So, well, these aren't my feet. These are my models that I have here. So what you want to see is our bodies are seen, are mimicked in our feet. So it's why it's easy to do things on our feet, is because we can pinpoint areas of our feet very easily. So I want you to think about like your colon. If you could touch your abdomen right now. If your colon goes underneath your belly button, and if I were to stand up and say, underneath my belly button. It goes up and around and down and then out. And so you have the different parts of the colon, the ascending, the descending, the transverse, the sigmoid, all of those different parts are going to be points also that you can work on. Sometimes you can feel in your body if there is or without even touching, you can feel tenderness in your body. You can feel a sharp pain on around the colon. And so what you can do with the colon and what you want to do is you start, the colon is right around in here and it goes across. So find it on your feet. You're going to start, this is your right foot. So you find it on your right foot. And it might feel a little awkward at first, but you can, a lot of times when we're doing this, we teach doing it on other people. But start with your own foot and you can use your right hand. Usually we do right to right and left to left, but do what's comfortable. The most important thing is you get the oils on and then you can do the technique with your fingers. So right in here is where you're going to find your colon points, because if you follow the inside of your foot, this is your spine. See, the spine's kind of here. You're going to have like your brain in your head. So your spinal cord in your column comes all the way down here and ends like at the sciatica is down at the bottom. So what you want is you're going to find your colon in here, and then you're going to use your oils like peppermint, digi, spearmint, and then you're going to go pad, tip, nail, pad, tip, nail, pad, tip, nail, till you get kind of right in the middle where you have your arch, the arch of your foot. Then you're going to, instead of going up, you're going to go across, across, across. And then when you get across, you're going to pick it up with the other hand. And then you're going to go across all the way, pad, tip, nail, and then down. Pad, tip, nail, pad, tip, nail, pad, tip, nail. Why do we only go that direction? Is because that's the motion our colon goes. So you want to move all around on that point. So now you might need to just focus on one specific area. You can also start on your right leg just below your knee, and you can do walking down the shin with your VitaFlex. You can actually pad, tip, nail all the way down, and then hitting here at your ankle bone, go down and around to the tip of the big toe. Pad, tip, nail, pad, tip, nail, pad, tip, nail, pad, tip, nail. So you can keep doing that. Again, we were taught to do your right leg with your right side and your left with your left side. But the most important thing, that's for sure when you're doing with other people. That's most important whenever you're getting it on yourself. When you're doing it on yourself is to get the oils on and to do the VitaFlex. Because you already have that connection with your own body, right? So the other one is the base of the skull, and this would be the thumb VitaFlex. So I'm going to turn so you can see me here, and I'm going to, I had a ponytail, hold on, it broke. I'm going to have this right in here, this area behind your base of your skull, and you're going to, you can feel it right there. You can do pad, tip, nail, pad, tip, nail, pad, tip, nail, pad, tip, nail. And I would, a lot of times, that's one that I would do when my kids were little, if they were sitting on the toilet and constipated. They don't really let me in the bathroom with them anymore, but that's a good one for constipation. If you have, I would have them put their head on my stomach and lean down, and I would do pad, tip, nail on the base of the skull for constipation, and just put the oils right there. That was a really good one. Always usually got pretty good results too. All right. Look at the comments and see if anybody else has comments. Okay, we're going to keep moving on. Next one is going to be the respiratory system. Now, there are so many oils for the respiratory system. I know you guys are thinking them through right now. You're going to comment in the chat here. I can think of, we talked about blends with names that have to do with respiratory. I can think of two right off the top of my head. Can anybody else think of respiratory blends off the top of their head that they would use? I'm looking here. See what it says. RC, yep, RC, very good. Another one I love is Breathe Again. And Breathe Again is a roll-on, and it has multiple varieties of eucalyptus. So another great oil for the respiratory system is eucalyptus. Any eucalyptus, can be radiata, globulus, eucalyptus blue. There's so many of them. Also frankincense, fantastic. Cistus, thieves or hyssop, raven, copaiba. All of those are fantastic when it comes to the respiratory system. Why copaiba? It's such a mild one, right? You can put it with eucalyptus. You can put it with maybe raven, and myrtle's another good one for the respiratory system. And copaiba is, other than what we have in our CBD, it is the number one number two oil outside, or number two plant, I should say, outside of our non-THC CBD oil. That is that it's the beta caryophyllene, which is anti-inflammatory. So if you know anything about respiratory situation, you want a respiratory system that's not inflamed, right? So let's look at the feet here. The feet are a great place to do VitaFlex, because you can access them so easily. And anytime my kids, at night we have the thieves chest rub. Love to do the thieves chest rub on my kids at night. I put lavender and lemon in the diffuser, let them breathe that, and put the chest rub. The old Vicks. This is thieves. This smells so much better. It's so much more effective. And I will actually rub it on their lungs and rub it all over them. But then I'll also rub it on their feet, or put V6 or I'm sorry, not V6, or RC or Breathe Again, whatever I have that I'm using right then. So let's look at where do you think the lungs would possibly be on your feet? If this is your head and your spine, if your heart is right here on, like right in here, your lungs are actually going to be kind of around outside of the heart on the left side, and right in here on the right side. So they're going to be mirror images on your feet. So you can just go ahead and you move from the outside to the inside on your VitaFlex points. So I would you do pad tip nail all the way across, pad tip nail all the way across, pad tip nail. And how many times should we do it? Well, Dr. Stewart always said do it at least 3 times, because a lot of times in nature, that's how things are working molecularly. And so he just said 3 times always does the job. Okay. Then next, the bronchial tubes. We want to VitaFlex between the ligaments and the bones on the tops of your feet. So as you can feel them here, on the feet, you have these different bronchial ligaments, if you will. And so what you're going to do is you're going to, again, go from the outside to the inside of the foot, and you're going to go, you put your oils on, pad tip nail 3 times, pad tip nail. Can you guys see that? Pad tip nail, pad tip nail, pad tip nail, pad tip nail. So you're going to do that, and then you move to the other side. Always work from the outside in, and then pad tip nail. Okay, does that make sense? I'm going to look and make sure there are no comments. Okay. Ooh, yeah. Really great point, Adelina. She mentioned the emotion of grief is one that highly affects the respiratory system. So she said joy is an oil that you could use, because joy is an oil that we would use for grief. Can you guys see this when I'm doing this? You can't see it, can you? Point it down a little bit better. Is that better? Is that better? So pad tip nail, pad tip nail, pad tip nail, tip nail, pad tip nail. So I'm working from the outside in. I wasn't looking at my own screen. I was looking at you guys. There we go. Pad tip nail. All right. So joy would be another good one, because joy is great for the respiratory system. Okay. And then just to make sure, you saw where the lung points were, right? Right in here. Right in there. And then the heart would be right there, because we know the heart is in the chest area, but it's on the left side, right, of the sternum. So there you go. Okay. And then sinuses. when we look at the sinuses, they're actually on the necks, what we call the necks of the toes. So underneath here. And what you can do when you do the VitaFlex here, it's going to be a little awkward at first, but you can do pad, tip, nail all the way up. These toes don't move, but you know what I'm getting at. So you do pad, tip, nail, moving up the sinuses. And one thing that I like to do whenever I finish doing that 3 times each, again, moving along from the outside in and then up. I like to then take them and like kind of just pull them down a little bit, let them release. Feels really good. Feels really, really good. Same thing on this side. You're going to go from the outside in and then you're going to go up each toe. Get that little finger involved, pad, tip, nail, pad, tip, nail, pad, tip, nail, go all the way up. Okay. You can also do the sinuses on your face. What I like to do is you go from the outer cheekbones to your nose and then across the forehead from the temples to the center. So what you do is you can use both hands. I've also just done 2 fingers. You want to keep the oils away from your eyes. Remember, the vapors can also maybe even cause your eyes to water, but it's okay. You've got this. So one way I like to go is you go in all the way, you follow it all the way across because this whole area is your sinus cavity. Pad, tip, nail, pad, tip, nail, pad, tip, nail, pad, tip, nail, pad, tip, nail. And then the same thing for your forehead. Pad, tip, nail, pad, tip, nail, pad, tip, nail, all the way across. Now, if I'm having specific tenderness in one area, like if I could feel it right in here, I will just continue to do it in one area. I'm really careful about not just doing it on one side though. I like to do it on both sides just because they do seem to kind of, have you ever like gotten one side clear and then the other side kind of plugs up? So the other thing you want to do is after you've done anything on your face, you want to do some lymphatic drainage. So you want to pulse right here, pump, pump, pump. You can move up, out, and down. So move out and then down that eustachian tube. And that will help with lymphatic drainage too. Sometimes when you're not feeling good, you don't feel like moving, and your natural lymphatic pump that you would have in your body, you're not doing it as much. And so I would just say, give yourself a little bit of extra love when you want some more lymphatic movement. And then same thing here, it doesn't have to be rough out from the top, from the forehead. And then I do the Vulcan salute around my ears like this, and I'm moving it clockwise forward, clockwise backward, and then pulling down, pulling down. That always just gives me a lot of relief. And having those oils on your face, even just having the oils on the face is really very soothing. And you do it as often as you need to. If you're dealing with something, what we say is the first moment that you start to feel something come on, hit it hard, get after it, and do it once a minute for 10 minutes, then every 10 minutes for an hour, and then once an hour for 24 hours, the best as you can. The last one we're going to do is the brain and the nervous system. So if you're dealing with tension, a headache, migraines, all of those, this is great. You can actually do, put oils like, what oils would you do in your head? Of course, peppermint's another good one, right? Frankincense. What else would you guys use? I can tell you this weekend I was dealing with some head issues, and I used Cool Azul, and I put it all over my head. Imgrain, yes, Tammy, really good one. Rosemary, Deep Relief, love it. What about Stress Away? That one has Copaiba as well. Valor and Brain Power. So all of those, but you use what you have, but those are some of our favorites for sure. Okay, so next for the brain, if you look at the base of the toes, you can go the same thing here is you're going to go up the toes pad tip nail all the way up, pad tip nail all the way up. And then really, when you get to that big toe, you can really stretch the neck. You can do more specifically on the big toe because that is your brain right there, your brain center. That's your brain activity. Again, it's connected to the sinuses. They're overlapping a little bit, but you want to do all the way up, pad tip nail, pad tip nail, pad tip nail, pad tip nail, and then you can tweak that little big toe. This big toe doesn't tweak, but I think you understand what I'm saying. Also, you can do on your own head. You can do VitaFlex. Now it's a little difficult when I have longer hair, so it's hard to see completely. But when you're doing this with someone else, you stand behind them, and then you put your with all your four fingers, you go from front to back. Like I will put my arm like this to hold the person's head, and then I'll kind of start at the base. I start at the base here, and I will just go up, VitaFlex, up, 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 up. And in doing it, you guys might have to lift your hand out to get rid of the hair. Up, 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 up. And I'm coming into the forehead. Then just like, I liken it to when you mow a yard or you're plowing a field or something, you move over just a little bit, and then you're still on the base here, but then you do the next, and you just kind of go with the curve of your skull. And again, and then you just come around to your forehead. And I'm doing it all the way to my forehead. It's good. And then last one, usually 3, it's pretty close what you do, right behind your ear. And you just follow it, pad tip nail, all the way to the front. Pretty easy. And then you repeat it on the other side. So you're going to go 3 stripes, pad tip nail, pad tip nail, pad tip nail. So 3 stripes. So you'll have a total of 6 times that you do it you should on the average size head. And it's okay to overlap a little bit. That's not a problem. The other thing you can do is, and I've done this many times for myself and other people, it's been one of my favorite things when I want to pray for somebody who has a headache, but I will ask if I can pray for them, hold their hands, and I will also, you can not squeezing them, but basically what you want to do is you want to align your right hand with their right hand, and your left hand holding onto the thumbs, and you can actually okay, I'm trying to do this with just one hand. You can VitaFlex along somebody's hand right in here. And I like to VitaFlex right along, up all the way up the thumb. And you can do things on your hands. If you have someone who does not have, who's an amputee, hands can be used. Even if somebody has paralysis in their feet, you can still use the feet. Just go really slow. When my mother-in-law first was learning raindrop and VitaFlex, she had a lot of paralysis, and it was kind of painful because it was the nerves were starting to wake up down there. So, but you can 100% use the hands as well. So if you're looking at the hands, you've got your lungs in here, your heart, your lungs. So you're going to have the lower part is going to be your digestive system, and everything's the same. Then this is going to be all of your head and your sinuses. So you can even do your sinuses and on your fingers and on your bronchial, the bronchial tubes on the tops of your hands. But the thumbs are really great because you can just kind of pressure in there and do those oils and then squeeze. I've had many people, I was like, please tell me if this is painful for you, if it hurts, but I'd be happy to pray for you and just do a little bit of reflexology VitaFlex with you if they don't know what VitaFlex is. But most people are so open because they want relief, right? Because migraines are debilitating. So, and Adelina also mentioned Kid Power. Yes, Kid Power. Oh, that's a great one. My children love it, but it's for adults too, for sure. So VitaFlex, that is the basics of VitaFlex. When it comes to doing them just on yourself, sitting in a chair, and also just some basic ones that can help other people. I hope that you can get to a VitaFlex class in person and get to practice with other people, learn how to do it, and also start putting your oils on yourself, using them with your family and friends. And, don't let your oils just sit on the counters. Get them out, start using them, start putting them on people. That's how we get oils in every home in the world and help people achieve wellness with essential oils as well. So I'm going to open it up for a few questions. If anyone has a testimony, there is another VitaFlex move that I usually teach in person called the Hip Atlas, but it is so much more it's detailed and you can't just show it on the screen tonight. And maybe I'll do a video sometime just showing the Hip Atlas, and but not tonight. We'll save that for another time. Does anyone have a comment or a question?
I have a quick question. I know that a lot of people will make like a raindrop rollerball and then VitaFlex it up. I have found that to be pretty effective, especially for myself when I can't get to someone to do
Yeah.
a raindrop on me. I mean, that is just absolutely amazing. Again, like you said, just get the oils on you.
Yeah. And we've heard some very strong opinions about the raindrop in a bottle. I will tell you that as a mom of little kids, we're squirming around, and getting the oils on you is the most important thing. I am not replacing a raindrop with raindrop in a bottle. I am not doing that. What I am doing is I can put oils in a bottle and I can get those oils on my kids' feet if I can't get it on their spine. I'm putting it on myself that way too, because I can't give myself a raindrop. If I don't have access to anyone to give me a raindrop, I can get those oils on me. And if you put it on your feet and do VitaFlex, that's better than nothing, isn't it? Isn't it? Well, don't we want to get the oils on? That's the point. Ideally, you can get a raindrop too, raindrop technique. But if you can't and you just need to get the oils on you, that's what you should do. And I had that conversation with Tamara Packer, who teaches a raindrop technique for Young Living, and mainly because she's Gary Young's cousin, and Mary Young had said some things at convention about raindrop in a bottle. We don't do raindrop in a bottle. That's not how Gary taught it. That's not what he meant. And it definitely isn't. We don't substitute it, but we can get the oils on, make our own little raindrop blend, if you will, that we can put on our feet to get those specific oils on us. Is it a blend the Young Living sells? No, it's not a blend, because ultimately you'd want to get them one at a time, but it's more about function than it is about the letter of the law, the spirit rather than the letter. Yes, and you mentioned again, hydrate, 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 because the oils you want to move things out and keep moving. If you're dealing with something chronic, especially, you want to keep moving things out. So I highly recommend that. Um, Okay, Jeannie said, what if you have someone who's allergic to the oils? What do you do? So I go back to what Dr. David Stewart taught us in the chemistry of essential oils, and that is the allergens and the peptides are not in the oils, in the Young Living oils, through the distillation process. The atomic mass unit of essential oils, whenever they are distilled, it's different than the plant. So the plant matter itself, you can have, I think it's 2 acres of lavender that it takes to distill about a pound of lavender oil to you get a lavender oil. But the fascinating thing of that is because the way that the distillation process works, the plant material goes down into a cooker, it gets heated up. The oils actually are heated to it's a lower temperature and a low pressure, and the oils actually start to release from the plants and rise. They rise up through the steam distillation. As it rises, it goes out through a condenser, a separator, and then it comes down and rests at the bottom, and the oil and the water separate, right? Because oil and water don't mix. So it comes out all together as oil and steam, and then down through the condenser, it cools it down to where it's back to oil and water. The plant material itself, the atomic mass unit of the plant material, is too high to be steam distilled. So the plant material stays in the cooker. It doesn't come out. The things that we're allergic to, the allergens, the peptides, they're too heavy. They can't get distilled out. So when someone tells me they're allergic to an oil, I will say, you can most definitely be allergic to the plant, but the oil itself, a lot of times what you're experiencing is a response from a detoxification. It's a response to what's going on with your body. So avoid that oil. If it gives you trouble right now, use another oil to help with the detoxification, maybe something that's not as aggressive. So, continue to use a lavender, continue to use copaiba before you use your oregano, or before you use something that's going to be maybe more a Juva cleanse or something that's more aggressive. And I just tell people that chemically and scientifically, the only way you would be allergic to that oil is if it were an oil that you stuck the lavender plant in and infused it. And that was like a carrier oil that had the plant infused into it. It's totally different than the oil that is steam distilled. So it's something I tread lightly with, because I don't want to be condescending or say this can't happen. You don't know what you're talking about. But the last 20 years, in my experience and speaking with the scientists and the researchers, with the Young Living essential oils, there's not allergic reactions in the same way that people have it with oils that are not steam distilled, or aren't steam distilled properly, or are not a high quality oil. So if they take an oil and they mix it with another carrier oil, there's a lot of times you can have cross contamination that happens. So that's one of the reasons Young Living so closely guards their process of the seed to seal process, is because they want to make sure that there's no chance that anything can be compromised. So every batch of oils goes through testing, and to make sure that there's nothing no peptides, no allergens or anything in there. So that's
Well,
typically how I say it.
well,
Yeah.
I've worn them and they've given her headaches. So one of
Yeah.
my coworkers. So
Yeah. So a lot of times what I get headaches from? I get headaches from the soap detergent aisle at the store. I get headaches from candles. I get headaches from air fresheners, because your body is used to that synthetic
yeah,
smell. Her body's used to that as synthetic smell. Mine's not. So
yeah.
if it's giving her a headache, um, typically I would tell her, you know what, I'm not wearing anything today, because I a lot of times don't have anything on. It's just from when I've diffused at my house. So it's
Mhm.
just, I did this at home, and this is what I smell like. It's like someone wearing a perfume. The difference is that what the oils will do is will actually be beneficial for your body versus a synthetic perfume. So I always tell people, I'm so sorry that, I'm helping you to detoxify. But one thing that's really good is if they can drink more water, that can help. You can also do the VitaFlex without an oil and just help with doing some reflex points for them, and see if that would help. I will tell you, my daughter wants to make a shirt. She was very young when she made the shirt up. She said, um, I'm sorry you're detoxing. I think I smell good. So, um, it,
Would maybe diluting it with the V6 maybe help some?
sure, if you're using an oil with her, diluting it, most definitely. But if you're just
Well,
in a,
I mean, I'm working by her and it gives her
yeah,
a headache. So
I would say if you're, it's a hard thing. Are you wearing it on yourself? Are you diffusing it? How is she getting access to it?
some of it I've been wearing,
Mhm.
or I used it for like fabric softener. I used the lemon for a while for fabric softener, and she's allergic to the lemon and the cinnamon. So that means I can't do thieves.
Right.
So yeah, yeah. So I was
I
using
think
it.
I sometimes I think it's very much a mental thing too for people, that they've been told they're allergic to something, and so that's what they're going to believe. So I
Well, she
know.
went through a hard time. She went through
Yeah.
a hard time with somebody who used oils quite regularly.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing is to show compassion and to be
Mm.
kind because she's had a hard experience. So using the oils that she's not allergic to, you can say, "Well, what do you think about eucalyptus?" Or ask her, what about an orange oil? Or what might be good for
Yeah,
you?
I
What do you
asked her which ones bothered her. That's like I know the
Yeah.
lemon and the cinnamon does.
Yeah. And if
Yeah,
she would be okay, I mean, if you're being considerate and saying, I I I really like eucalyptus, or I'm going to wear peppermint today. One of my son's teachers at his school, in the old school he used to go to, said she was allergic to peppermint. Okay, well, and so we smell like peppermint a lot because I use it for so much. So I didn't intentionally put it on him around her or to send it to anything. I didn't make my teacher gifts with it or anything, but she was getting access to it every day because of he had it. So sometimes I think too, just the slow um, absorption. I know whenever we get around certain oils that we put it on our feet. If it we don't like the smell, the same thing happens with absorption. Our bodies can chemically adjust to it. So if she can start adjusting to the oils that don't bother her, the smells that are okay, if you can say,
yeah,
this is a kind of a part of my lifestyle and it helps me, but I also want to be considerate of you. Would
yeah.
you be
Because I
okay?
like using the lavender when I'm having it. I've
Yeah,
started using the lavender when I've had a tough day
right.
instead
Maybe see if she
instead of
likes the
my
lavender
combo.
or the stress away and say, are you okay
Yeah,
with this oil?
yeah,
And if she's had a hard time with somebody, I understand that that's no good. So there could be just a whole emotional factor as well.
yeah.
So I would just encourage you to be considerate and you can't, you're not using the oils actively in front of her, but you just smell like them. There's not a lot you can do about that. And
Right.
yeah, so I would say find an oil that she does like and just continue until she kind of it saturates her and she gets acclimated to it.
Okay.
And just
Okay.
pray that she can no longer have headaches from it. But again, what she's exposed to in her own home and her own skincare, she's not drinking enough water, that's going to 100% her food, it's going to 100% affect, how she
Yeah.
responds to the
Yeah.
oil.
I tell them all to drink water, and they still
Yeah,
they they because I know to drink water. I have kidney issues. I know I have to drink water.
for sure.
So yeah. So I tell
The
them
other
all
thing
you
is
don't.
sulfurzyme. If people
Yeah.
have a reaction detoxing to essential oils, sulfurzyme is a dietary sulfur, and it's not sulfa. It's not the sulfa drug, so you can't be allergic to it. Or if you, it's not the same as having an allergy to sulfa, is what I meant to say. And it acts dietary sulfur or MSM acts as a conduit to help your body produce glutathione. Glutathione is your master antioxidant. So when you have that going on in your body, your glutathione is like your Swiffer of the body. It's the master detoxifier. So it can go in and it is sticky and it's basically detoxifying your body. So that's one reason I love
Is
sulfurzyme.
that why they say it's good for the kidneys? Just
Yeah,
because?
yeah, because it's helping to clean. It's a Swiffer
Okay.
of that it can help with like cleaning up, detoxifying your body. So having sulfurzyme on hand, a capsule of sulfurzyme or sulfurzyme powder that you can put in Red, I love it because it doesn't have any oils in it and it helps with detoxification.
Yeah.
So that could be something you could say, hey, this is a dietary sulfur that can help with, flushing
Yeah.
once she gets to that point. So
Once she gets used to me, 'cause
yeah, yeah,
I just transferred in May, so
there you go. Well, we have to be salt and light. And so
yeah.
sometimes that, salt is can be corrosive to certain things and light can be abrasive whenever you're used to
Mm.
darkness. So sometimes you just slow acclimation.
Yeah.
So, all right, any other questions? This has been a good call. Wrapping up the year. And next year we're going to start our book club again. our holistic health book club, and we're going to go through the Ultimate Balance book again. So if you don't have a Ultimate Balance book, they're out of print, but we're going to be going through it, so you'll be able to learn from that and pick up different parts of the body systems. What should you be cleaning? What should you be working on right now this time of year? So right now, the most important thing is with it was warm last week, but it's been cold now. Hydration is very important because your skin can be dry. You want to keep your body hydrated. It may not feel like you're losing fluids if you're cold, but you are. So your body's always needing to lose it. And so, oh, and Adelina, you raised your hand. Yes, ma'am.
I did my post yesterday on the Ultimate Balance book, and I went looking for it because if you can't find it, it's like 150 plus. But I found one today on it's abebooks.com, and they had one for $13.99 plus $3.99 shipping. And so,
oh my goodness,
yeah,
the books get you
yeah.
one. It's a fantastic book. So you'll want to have it for our book club this next year. We're going to do, we'll do them throughout once a month throughout the whole year. So it's a fantastic one. Thank you for that. I'm going to go buy another one because I sometimes loan my books out and I'm like, oh, I don't know where it is. Yay, abooks.com. Thank you for sharing that. Happy New Year, Shelly. Yes, Happy New Year, everybody. I know it's an important time of year for resetting in a lot of ways. Some of you reset throughout the year. I do too. I reset usually in the fall. The start of school and Yom Kippur. I love to do that with some of the traditions of biblical traditions. So, but this is a great time of year to restart as well. So if you've not already jumped on into a 14-day Ningxia reset or a metabolic reset, now's your time to do it. There's so many people excited to join with you. Also, Balance and Burn, Young Living's new answer for people wanting to really target digestion, blood sugar, weight loss, weight management. That is coming January 10th. So be ready for that. I did a video about that that you can also find on the 7 Oily Days YouTube channel. So God bless you guys. It's been a great year. I'm looking forward to learning new things with you guys. 2025 was a monumental year of change for my family. Lots of different things. I turned 50 this year, and so just it's only up from here, right? We're gonna have a new year, a new blessings, new things, new ways that we can help our community. So love you guys. Have a great evening. Go do some VitaFlex on your friends. Good night.